This is Automojo with your host Dave Foley, not the one from Kids in the Hall.
Completely different guy. He commonly wears a dress, and I don't. Well, often. Yeah, no.
That's a distinguishing characteristic.
Yeah, that, and he's disgustingly filthy rich, and I'm not that either. So anyway. Hey, this is Automojo with Dave Foley on Fusedlogic TV. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming back, checking us out.
No problem.
Oh, it's nice of you to turn up, Evan. I really appreciate that too. This week we've got a really good show for you. This is going to be fun. On the starting line this week, I've got some good news stories. They are truly good news stories. You're going to like them. I've also got coverage, a nice piece prepared from the Rockin' August car show out in St. Albert. It happened couple of weeks ago. Nice piece there. I do have some sad news to pass on to you, but we're going to wrap.
You said only good news.
Well, that was the first part.
Oh,
but this other thing, you'll know, you'll see.
All right.
And at the end of the show, I'm going to wrap up with my version of me in grade 6. I'm going to do a book review. It's going to be an oral book report. War and Peace. No, that's not it. Anyway, you'll see. Okay, now the starting line on this first story is Cadillac gets a charge. This is really good news. This is really cool. A production version of the Cadillac Converge concept car has been approved for production. If you remember a while back, they showed this thing, and it has been a while that it's been floating around as a concept car. GM ran into their troubles, got put on the back burner, this and that. Now with CAFE standards getting jumped up significantly, or proposed to jump up significantly in the United States, they're bringing this thing back. The reason? It uses Chevrolet Volt type powertrain. Now they're not releasing any numbers on horsepower and gas mileage and cost and all that sort of stuff, but GMAuthority.com speculates that the price will be around $60,000. That's good for Chevrolet Volt buyers too, because if they can drop the price, if they can get volume with the Converge going into production and lower the unit cost for everything for the Volt, they'll be able to drop the price of the Volt and sell more Volts, and that gets more volume, which primes the pump and so on and so on.
It's a pretty car.
The only downside I can see to it, and this is like such a minor thing, as they are using their now across the board 3-letter designation. So it is not going to be called a Converge. It will be called the ELR. You know what? That thing is so good looking. I don't care what 3 letters they spell it with. That's a good looking car.
It looks like a spaceship.
It is awesome.
In the best sense of the word.
Absolutely, and it's also, it's very similar to the CTS Coupe, but a little bit even a little bit more compact. Very much part of that art and science theme that is throughout Cadillac. I really like the lines. It's a great looking car. Now the other thing is GM Authority is speculating, because GM hasn't said. GMAuthority.com is speculating production will start for 2013. Now that's too bad, because I think given the Volt technology is already here, the powertrain is already working, they're selling cars. If they were able to get this thing into production sooner than that, I think they could catch other premium brands completely flat-footed for people that want a premium car, but they want it to be green. The Lexus, HS250H, that one doesn't fit. I'm sorry, that one doesn't fit to a premium level. And the look of this is so much nicer. Audi's coming out with an urban concept EV. BMW has their i3 and their i8, but they're down the road too. So let's hope that Cadillac gets that tuned up and actually brings that one to market. Quick. Great looking car. All right. Starting line on this next story is when is an announcement not an announcement? What a difference a few months can make. Back in April, Allpar.com interviewed Ralph Gilles, who's the head of the Dodge brand at the time and head of design for all of the Chrysler brands. They interviewed him at the New York Auto Show, and they asked him about station wagons and hatchbacks returning to Chrysler. Since the Dodge Magnum disappeared, there's been nothing in a station wagon line, and so it was just sort of a general question. Well, Ralph Gilles' response was, In the passenger space, I don't think it's a priority for us right now. We're looking for more sedans and focusing on a true crossover. I think in America, the wagon is a kind of a tough proposition psychologically. The station wagon used to be the minivan of the 60s and 70s, so there's a bit of a stigma there. Unfortunately, we found that out with the Magnum. Personally, I love the format, so when the time is right and we can do it, it's pretty easy, but right now I don't see it. So that sounds pretty bad. That doesn't sound very good at all. But 3 months later, this is into July, the New York Times columnist Terry Garrett caught up with Ralph Gilles at a Chrysler event at Willow Springs Raceway, and where they were introducing the new SRT brand, the new lineup there. And he asked him about additional vehicles that may be coming into the SRT brand. And, of course, the subject of the Dodge Magnum, because there was an SRT8 Dodge Magnum. So Ralph's reply is, that vehicle was single-handedly killed by one executive who is no longer with the company. He's retired. A lot of people in the company still like that vehicle. A lot. A lot of things that weren't possible then are now. Okay. Well, that sort of sounds positive, I'd have to say. Not negative. I'm a big fan of the wagon. I think they're a much better packaging.
This doesn't look too bad for a wagon.
Yeah, well, the pictures we're showing now, these are pictures that a guy, a submitter to allpar.com has done. He's a genius with Photoshop, and Jack Ratchet is what he goes by. And he does these concepts just to what could it look like, and between a little bit of information here and there, he's able to blend them into something that could possibly.
This one looks kind of like a hearse.
A little bit, probably because of the black and the wide D pillar there, but I'm excited. I mean, I think that would be great. I like the idea of a wagon. It's if you've got all the space or all the handling of a sports sedan and a little bit more cargo capacity for no downside. I loved it. I mean, I've been to car shows where guys have taken old Dodge Coronets or baseline Impalas and stuff like that and put the RT or the SS packaging and badging on a wagon. Now, some of you are going to just throw darts at your screen, and that's okay. But I think they look good. When it's done right and it's done intentionally, and it's the complete package, and they get all the badging and all the striping and all of the taping, tape stripes and stuff like that, I think it's a good look. So I'm encouraged. Maybe that's just good news for me.
So what you're saying is the wagon's not just for, people who don't quite want a minivan anymore?
Well, maybe if it's packaged in a way that pushes the sport end of it, I think that's the solution.
That would be interesting.
If they go back to slow station wagons, and if anybody ever sees MacTac wood grain on the side of the car
it's all about
again,
the wood grain.
Really, that's time to just close shop and go home. I'm sorry. So, and our final story, the starting line on this is Saab is back from the brink and kicking butt. You won't believe what kind of sales they're having. I mean it. You won't believe it. Yeah.
Dave Foley, you're a dirty liar.
Yes, I am. Yeah, there's so much bad stuff about Saab. I just didn't want them to have more bad news said about them. So even if it's not true, I'd rather say that there is some good news. If
they don't want bad news, maybe they should get their business in order.
Does that make
it's not up to you.
Does it make me a bad person?
Probably not.
I hope not. Anyway, that wraps up the starting line segment. Now, next segment here. This is coverage of the Rock in August in St. Albert. We went out there, shot a bunch of stuff, took some videos, did some interviews. It was a great show. I'll do a little bit of a wrap afterwards to not wrap.
Did you meet my friend Rev?
Rev.
He lives in St. Albert. He's a pastor and a classic car guy.
Oh, is that right? Oh, yeah. I thought this was one of those. Oh, you're from Edmonton? Do you
know
Bob?
No. He would probably be at this.
Oh, okay. He didn't come over and bless us.
That's all right.
So we may have missed it. Maybe he did and we didn't see it. I don't know. Anyway, if Rev is watching, hey, good job.
Do you want to go right into the video?
Yeah, let's go right to the video.
All right, to the video. I'm going to mute myself first.
Rob Lullashore and Mayor Krause welcome the event organizers and participants to the staging area at Apex Casino for Friday night's cruise and dance. The variety of styles and brands of cars was truly mind-boggling. From the completely stock vintage cars to full-on customs, this show ran the gamut. Hot rods to hearses, custom campers to motorbikes. As with many car shows, you'll find at least one DeLorean. This show had two. Actually, this one was darn near perfect. Whatever a DeLorean owner saves on power polishing the paint that he doesn't have, I'm sure he spends it on steel wool. The warm weather made the complimentary froster from Max especially refreshing. The cruise got underway at 6 p.m. sharp and wound its way through the streets of St. Albert. It finished in front of St. Albert Place. Workmanship and attention to detail were evident everywhere you looked. These cars were amazing. I was totally impressed with the number of high-quality projects that made the trek to this show. Obviously, most of the cars were from Alberta, but there were entrants from British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and even Washington, Idaho, and Montana. A 5-day show justifies a drive like that. Is this considered excessive horsepower? Or just enough? V8 tunnel ram, dual quads, in a T-bucket. Sweet. The street dance was a bit of a preview of the Saturday show. 50s music echoed through downtown. It was a great summer night for family fun. It's Saturday, the competition day. Today, entrants are judged according to class, while the public can view these works of art in all their glory. We took this opportunity to talk to a few of the participants, but first we found this exhibitor. Hi, we're here with Julie Wittenland, and you've got some incredible pictures here. This stuff is beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks.
So what do you call this? What style is this? It's great.
Well, it's a combination of art and design. I studied industrial design at the university, and I also studied fine art, so I amalgamate the two disciplines. So that's where you get the three-dimensional aspect of the metal, but you get the photography from fine arts background. So it's called the Jalopy Collection. I have 125 different images of jalopies that I've shot in different abstract views to make them a little more interesting. And then I've mounted them on the photos. So you can tell here, this is an example of one that just hangs on your wall. And turn it around, and it just simply hangs like that, just on a nail. Self-levels. They're all registered, and so they're exclusive to my company, which is called Salted Studio. And I make each one by hand, one at a time.
So where did you get the idea to do pictures of old cars? I mean, this is amazing.
Well, my dad paints cars for a living, so I grew up around cars, my whole life. And then it was just a university project that I had to do back in 2007, and it was about planned obsolescence, and so be it. I chose to take cars, which, are now planned to become obsolete a lot quicker than today's cars, so that's where it spurred from.
This is amazing. I mean, my favorite part about all this stuff is you focus on a given area, on a small part of the car, and as a car guy, I look at it and I go, look at the workmanship that went into the design.
Yes.
And how much detail they put into, even a door handle. Like this one here, this is just
a good example, because this, if you look at it subtly, it's actually a V and then an 8, because that's obviously the engine size, but they put it on the door handle ever so discreetly. And that's what got me started was, wow, look at the attention to detail that these old cars used to have. And now, our style have changed with our cars. Granted, they're a lot more streamlined, but there's not a lot of detail, right? Because it's streamlined. It's plastic handles that mold right into the body. So they're nice cars, but they're not really character.
Yeah. It's like they don't give the sculptor in the designer a chance to really express himself on the cars, maybe.
Yeah, that's exactly what led me to the cars in itself. These cars, these older cars.
Oh, so where do people get a hold of you?
Well, you can check my website, which is www.saltedstudio.com.
Salted,
just like salt and pepper. It's saltedstudio.com. And you can order any of these. I have the whole collection online there, and I just ship out. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
We're here with Nolan Kraus, Mayor of St. Albert. This is a great little show.
Well, it's a great show. Welcome to St. Albert. 547 cars this year registered. We're down about 100. Certainly this morning when people woke up, it was a little bit of a doubtful day, so people just decided they didn't want to take their their beautiful piece out and get it possibly wet, and so we're happy that everybody's here.
Yeah, the thunderstorm last night might have scared a few.
Yeah, it sure did. You know what happened? We expected it to grow this year, but people watch the weather pretty closely because they've obviously polished their cars or they've come a long ways, and they really. I mean, there's always a sensitive time when the weather is going to be uncertain, so they back off, and rightfully so.
Now, the city of St. Albert actually gets really well behind this show, too. I mean, they provide support in a whole bunch of different ways.
Yeah, I mean, anything we can do from a community, we do. I mean, first of all, it's let's face it, it's mostly St. Albert volunteers, but the clubs, the clubs that are really providing the leadership operate out of Edmonton, St. Albert. A lot of St. Albert volunteers. St. Albert president's the leader. And then what we try to do is make sure that all of the public works things are in place, everything from garbage to road availability. I mean, we don't take care of it per se as a city, but the groups, the volunteers take care of it. So anything we can do to liberate it, we want to do. The one thing we did different this year, which we had not done in the past, was we opened up the whole river valley. In the past, what we confined ourselves to Lions Park, as well as the quite tight proximity to Lions Park. But the river valley banks and whatnot allows us to grow this further now. So we think we probably got room for 1,000.
Well, it looks to be a huge success. We got a great Chamber of Commerce day for it.
Yeah, between the Chamber of Commerce, the Cruiser Club, all of the clubs who are a subset of all of those. I think there's if I remember right, there's a Thunderbird Club, maybe even a Studebaker Club. There's a group of hearses. I believe they've formed a club as well. So all these clubs get together and they have their own, their own grouping as well. And then as an umbrella, the Rock and August organization makes sure that it's successful. So, and thousands of people out. I don't know what there is for out here, but thousands of people.
It's pretty amazing. It just seems to go on and on and on. So, well,
yeah, and the other thing that's also now happened is the number of vendors that have joined us, right? Because obviously a vendor can not just they can make money selling license plates or CDs or paraphernalia.
Talk to the artist over here.
Oh, an artist, absolutely. Lots of food, of course.
It's a great community coming together. It's just
absolutely
really, really nice to see. Thanks for taking some time with us.
Thank you very much, and good luck as you put it all together.
Thank you.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Your name is?
John Donalook.
And you've got a beautiful old McLaughlin Buick. This is amazing. How long have you had this?
I had it since 1958.
So I see on the side here, Alberta, what is it, Post-War Car Society. You're a member of the Post-War Car Society?
I am, yeah.
So is this pretty much the way it was when you bought it?
Yeah, pretty well, yeah.
Have you had to do any repairs or anything on it?
Very little. I put new tires on, yeah.
This is, I see the plate on the front, 1924.
Yeah, that's what it is, yeah.
This would have been a pretty expensive car back in the day.
I think I have a price list on some of these cars, and I think it was right around $1,200.
They were still making Model Ts back then, right?
Yeah.
And a Model T would have sold for maybe 500?
Yeah, about 500 or 600, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So, can we take a look at the engine?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
This is the fuel pump.
Okay.
Which is called the vacuum tank.
Right.
Yeah.
So it uses engine vacuum to actually draw.
There's a line going into your intake manifold, and it creates vacuum and it sucks the gas out of the tank.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So if you had to rebuild all this stuff, have you ever had any plans, or does it run well enough?
It runs good enough. I had a compression test done on it, and the compression is pretty good.
Yeah.
75 pounds, so I think that's okay.
That's pretty good.
And they're all even.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so that's...
Well, thank you for taking some time with us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to like this. This is so cool. We have here, your name is?
Brian McMaster.
And this is your masterpiece. This is just amazing. What did the car start out as?
37 Ford Roadster, fiberglass body.
Okay.
It's a Wild Rod body out of Quebec. It's a factory-built frame from Wild Rod also. And it's got an 8-inch Ford rear end with a Mustang rack and pinion in the front and a 350 Chev with an R400 transmission.
So how does it drive down the road?
Drives like a dream.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Air conditioned?
Yes.
All the toys?
Power windows, power steering, power brakes, everything.
So there's no sacrifice to this car.
No.
Since you picked it up, have you done anything to it, or are you just enjoying the car the way it is?
Oh, I've done a little tweak and had to change the carburetor and some small stuff, but basically the way it is. Wow. It's an awesome car.
The attention to detail on this thing is just unbelievable.
Yeah, he did a real nice job.
I think my favorite little touch is the chrome strip that goes down the side and has the brake for the little Ford oval inserted in the rear fender.
Yeah.
And the billet hood hinges.
Yeah, you betcha.
Wow. Well, thanks for taking some time to talk to us. That's a beautiful, beautiful car.
Thank you very much.
We are here now with
Gary Peterson.
And you have got this beautiful Chrysler Prowler.
2001 Chrysler Prowler. They first came out as the Plymouth Prowler, and then Plymouth dropped its name in 2000, and they reverted back to Chrysler Prowler.
So now there's quite a few Prowlers out there, but none of them look like this that I've seen. What have you done to this? What's been changed on this?
I happened to see a Prowler with a hardtop on it. So what I did was I researched it on the internet and basically found out the cost and where they were from, and the guy said that he only had built 10 of them. So I thought uniqueness is in limited quantity, so
that's
I
really
bought it.
Nice. That is really nice.
Yeah.
What have you made any other modifications to the car?
No, other than basically both options as far as the bra on the front and the bra on the trailer. The trailer was an option through Chrysler, so there hasn't been any modification to the car at all other than accessories put on it.
I thought it was, when I walked up, I thought it was interesting because at first I thought, this man has upholstered the front of his car, but that's just how they have to do the bra.
It travels well with the bra on.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine the dings, dings and marks you'd get on a highway trip.
Yeah.
It was really nice. Thank you very much.
Kindly.
Thank you very much. And we are with
Rob Eggertsen.
Rob, okay. What is this display you have here? This is pretty incredible.
Well, we're with the Edmonton Bone Wagon Association. We're a local hearse club, and we've been coming to Rock in August for 5 years. And so for the last 3 years, we've had this corner of the facility, and we call this Doom Corner. So Rock in August is a very welcoming car show. They seem to like having the hearses here. Last night, they parked us right in front of the bandstand.
Yeah.
So that was great fun.
Where do you guys find these old things? Like, they look in fabulous shape.
We find them locally. We bring them across from the U.S. You find them everywhere. They're a beautiful classic car. They're usually very inexpensive. And we're the only people probably here that have hand-built cars. Even to this day, hearses are hand-built.
I suppose so. I mean, the low volume, they're not going to have a big stamping plant, right?
Correct.
Wow. So could I ask you, what do you think is what's the prize of the group, or are they all they're all
beautiful to me.
Yeah.
Yep, and we've got a couple of new members this year coming out, and I just get excited when I know they're coming. Any chance to see a brand new hearse that I haven't seen before is great.
Now, your group, you guys have all of these hearses, and you have all these sculptures and shapes. You guys take a pretty lighthearted view of the whole macabre thing, right?
Our theory on this is that death is something that everybody faces. We're stuck with it. We can't do anything to change it, so we might as well have some fun with it.
I like that. I think this is great. And you know what? In preserving old cars, that's a virtue unto itself.
Oh yeah, and all of these cars are unique. You could take two cars of the exact same year, built the exact same day, and they'll be different.
Oh, is that right?
Because they're all handcrafted, they're all done individually, as per the customer's request.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose it's all made to order. It's not like they're just pounding
There is
them out,
no
leaving
assembly
them
line. There has never been an assembly line.
So are most of these all from one company? How many different hearse companies are there?
Well, today there's only one, but back in the day there were many, many different companies. Superior is probably the biggest, but then there was Miller Meteor, H&S, just numerous different companies that built hearses. What happened over the years is they all got bought out by one company, and I believe it's AccuBuilt is the company now, and they do all of them. But they still carry the different names.
What's the oldest one out of your group here?
The oldest one here is my 64, but we've got ones that are in restoration right now. Rick has a 54 Pontiac, and then we've got 3 60s and a 61 that are all kind of in the works.
Yeah.
Maybe next year, maybe the year after, we'll see.
So when you guys are doing it, are you guys going to restore it to the way it was when it was a professional vehicle, or are you going more to the custom?
All over the map.
Okay.
With these cars, people do what they want,
Yeah.
and we respect everybody's car,
Yeah.
no matter what they do with them. Because, we're a bit of a different genre,
You can
and
say that. That's safe.
whatever somebody wants to do with the car is cool with us.
I like to see the professional cars getting saved one way or another.
Yes.
I think it's great. I mean, whether it's hearses or it's old police cars or whatever.
Ambulances, yep.
Ambulances, everything. I love to see it. So thank you very much.
Oh, not a problem.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Best of luck. Look forward to seeing more of those professional cars. out
Great,
there.
and
That
have
was
fun
good.
with the rest of the show. There's lots to see.
There's tons to see.
Yep.
Thank you.
Great.
Although the total number of cars for the Saturday show and shine were down because of the heavy overnight rain, participation in the events earlier in the week were up across the board about 10%. Even the kickoff breakfast on Tuesday served over 500 meals. This year's fundraising goal was an ambitious $150,000, with proceeds going to the Alberta Diabetes Foundation. The final totals are still yet to come in, but organizers are sure they have already raised over $100,000. Good job.
That show was so much fun. I gotta tell you, if you guys get a chance to get out there, the extra room they've got for next year, it is just gonna be massive. Because they're spread out along the river valley, it's like everybody gets to park in an area where there's nice trees in behind. It's almost like a photographic background behind everything. Really, really, really good show. Roger Bradley, Ken Jones, Mike House, and Mayor Nolan Krause, you guys did just a wonderful job putting that all together. And again, congratulations to the Alberta Diabetes Foundation's the recipient of, well, we know a little over $100,000 at least toward research for diabetes. So very good, very good. Now, I promised this earlier. I do have a bit of sad news. On July 25th, the guy that invented Hot Wheels cars passed away. He was 95 years old. Unfortunately, succumbed to heart failure. For anybody that's a car guy, you either played with Hot Wheels when you were a kid, or you have them now, or maybe you're like me and you collect the die casts and stuff like that.
I had the color changing ones.
The color oh, you're so young. You know, it really was sad. He revolutionized not only the toy industry, die-cast industry. He because their designs were so fantastical, if that's a word. They were so out there. It affected car designers down the road. I mean, in a Hot Wheels car, it didn't have to be practical. It just had to look cool. That kind of out-of-the-box thinking, I think, it's definitely changed how cars are designed, how things could look. It just puts the what if out there. Over the years, there have been over 10,000 different designs of cars that have come out of Hot Wheels. Just a really a sad moment, but really a tribute to what this guy started.
Yeah, talk about leaving a legacy.
Yeah, no kidding. And you know what? You've got your die casts. Just polish them up a little bit in remembrance of Elliot Handler. So now,
quick book review.
This is my book review. My name is Dave No, here we go. Anyway, okay. You guys are car guys, and maybe you like photography. This is a book I think you guys should try to pick up. It's not a current book. It's not one that's made the last little while. It actually was I believe it came out in 97. But what it is it's a book about a photo studio in Michigan, started by Jimmy Northrup and Mickey McGuire, that was called Boulevard Photographics. A lot of the OEMs went to these guys to get their pictures done, whether it was for brochures or for internal use. They were cutting edge of the day. Remember, this is all back before there was such thing as Photoshop. These guys were developing techniques, developing ways to do some of the stuff that is just common as grass today with Photoshop. They were doing them in camera so that it came out on the transparency.
I really like this one. The comparison between the motion and the not motion.
Oh yeah, between developing the light tent for photographing cars, the motion rig, which is what this was about. They actually put the camera on dollies and had it drawn by a cable, drawn by an electric motor by a cable, that also drew the car at the exact same speed. So they could choose what the background was. They could choose how much blur of the tires they were. Now, you might think that that could just be done by riding beside it with in a minivan looking out the door.
You got to control the light, though.
You got to control the light, and nothing in that industry happens by accident.
Yeah,
they're planning every single aspect. Where
now it's
each
all done
light is.
CG.
Oh yeah, they can move it around and play with it all they want nowadays. But back then, this was really cutting edge stuff. They also came up with a camera, an 8x10 camera. They had a special back made for it that they would use to lengthen cars or make them wider without destroying the proportion of the car. It was kind of neat. It was sneaky, but it was kind of neat. What they did was they had the film back was actually curved. The film slid in an arc. So when the image is shot, if you don't know too much about cameras, this might not make sense, but basically when the image is shot, the neg is like this, or the transparency. When they straighten it back out, what was over here lining up on this part is now way stretched out to the end. It's really neat. It's subtle, but back in the 50s and in the 60s, wider was better, longer is better. And they were able to find that balance where it didn't distort the tires, it didn't show up and make anything look really weird. It was really neat. Now, you can buy this book through Amazon.com. Check in there. I've looked in there and they're under $10. Which is pretty cheap. It's a hardcover book. When I bought it, I paid. I paid $44. To buy them used, you can get them for under $10. But if you want to give one of these to somebody as a gift, brace yourself. $175 to $225
for the book.
For the book, but brand new.
Not
previously looked through and dog-eared and corners and stuff like this. But a really neat book if you've got somebody or you yourself are a car nut. If you're interested in photography, you want to try to put those two things together, see how it was done. There's pictures in there of people that at the time were models that went on to become actors. Tom Selleck is in here. It was little stuff like that. And anyway, really good book. I think you'll enjoy it. If you're a car nut and you like photography, check that thing out.
Very cool.
All right. Now, just in wrapping up, I want to thank everybody for joining in. Thank you for watching Automojo with Dave Foley on Fusedlogic TV. I truly, truly appreciate it. To get this show off the ground, there's some people that need to be thanked. Walter Schwabe, Maria Politi, Michael Crichton, Evan Adnams, our man behind the controls. Thank you, Evan.
No problem.
All here from Fusedlogic. A huge thank you to Steve Payne, who was my camera guy, my editor, co-writer, all-around great guy. He helped. He put together that Rockin' August segment. Tell us what you think. Comment below. Make the comment on the YouTube page. We want to know whether that's something you guys would like to see more of. I had fun doing it. I think it looked pretty good, but you tell us.
More packages or less packages? If you want to use the terminology.
Oh, there you go. That's good. That's good. Technical jargon.
Oh, yeah.
So once again, you can get a hold of me. Follow me on Twitter. I'm at Miradart. We have now a Facebook page up for Automojo. Now, you know how Facebook works when you're starting a new little thing like that? You have to get so many likes before you get the facebook.com/Automojo. Well, we're not quite there. We're almost there. So go to Facebook, do a search for Automojo. We are the only one there. And click on our stuff. Check out what we've got posted there. And please, please, please make our job talking about the Facebook page simpler. Click a like.
Indeed.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for checking out Automojo.